I'm sorry guys, I just want to make sure that everything is recording. And I'm going to pour my tea now because I don't want to sit down and have to get back up again. And this one is a little bit, the table inside is getting a little bit warped already. So I'm going to have to try to figure out how to keep the board in here, how to keep it up. Anyway, hello, my name is Emma and welcome to Tea Time Tuesday. I just want to make sure it's recording. Yeah. So I can't time it. I'm going to have to start bringing my watch out because I have to make sure that what do you call it, keeping a time out here. I don't have a clock out here. I do have a clock, but it's inside there and I can't see it from that far. So from this far. So again, I am drinking my blueberry tea like always. And I really wish this was blue. Like I really do wish it was blue. Just let me take a check on the time. I want to make sure that it is going, that it's moving. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm so close. And then I can't even really see at the same time. So, yeah, it's moving. Okay. So, I'm not giving up on my stories. I really am trying to keep up with them. It's just so many things have been happening throughout the last month. I don't know if it's the medication I'm taking or what, but I have just been so extremely tired. Like all I want to do is sleep. So I'm going to try to taper off on them, and I'm still going to take my blood pressure pills, but not any other medication. So, but like I said, I am still reading the books. I am still reading Gambling for the Duke's Daughter. I'm still reading that one, and I still have yet to finish reading Happily in Love. So I'm still, believe me, I'm still on those. I really am. Plus I have all these other books that I have to read too that I haven't read at all. Anyway, I don't know what it was that I was talking or thinking about children a lot. And I think it was mostly because in one of my study series, it was talking about how to be a better mother. And although my children are already grown, they are already, they're adults, I still have my grandchildren that I have to, think about. And then being in this day and age, like we really have to be not overly protective of our children, but we have to keep an eye on them more closely now than ever before. I don't know how it was back in in the 30s or the 40s, especially when you lived in the city. I mean, I think it's at all ages and all generations, but it wasn't as severe of watching over your children as it is now. I mean, yeah, there were a lot of back in the day, a lot of things that happened, a lot of not to get really, I don't want to scare nobody or anything like that, but a lot of murders, a lot of crimes happened back then, but they weren't as severe as they are now, where people now are not only committing deadly crimes, but they're committing money crimes, and they're exploiting and using children to get those funds. And in the way that they do it is very, very criminal. So again, I guess we really have to keep an extra closeness and a more eye on our children, more so than we did in the back in the day. I'm not saying that it never happened even back then. Who knows? It probably did. When it came to slavery and sacrificing children, back in the day, back in even before Christ. So, yeah, but to be able to witness it now, and it's more visual because we have the internet, it's a lot more heart-hardening, and you just want to like rethink of it as what is this world coming to. But then again, like, you know, what hasn't been done under the sun that hasn't been done already, right? So, but just to keep just be more aware that, yeah, we have to keep a, just like always, we got to just keep a closer watch on our kids. So that's what got me to thinking about children. And I said, well, let me see what Emily Post has to say about children. So I got the book out. Doug's going inside. It's too hot out here. So I started reading about interrelationships, and she was talking about children. And I thought, let me see what she has to say about kids. So I'm just going to read. Okay, I'm just going to read. She goes, often we save our best manners for company and even for strangers, giving less. I have two glasses and I have a pair on. And even for strangers, giving less than our best to our families and friends, even though these are the relationships that matter most in our lives. This can happen when good manners are not made a habit, beginning at home and beginning with young children. Children can scarcely be too young to be taught the rudiments of good manners, nor can the teaching be too patiently or too consciously carried out. Consciously. That's a long word. Carried out. As long as the parents set a good example, any child can be taught to be well behaved through parental patience and perseverance. Whereas to break bad habits, once they are acquired, is a Herculean task. Young children. All children must be taught from their earliest years that there are certain rules that have to be obeyed. I firmly believe that too much permissiveness, like giving them too much permission, can contribute to delinquency. Getting out of hand, being destructive, and, getting into trouble. Young people, no matter what they may say aloud, want and need direction and correction. The more honest ones will even admit. I have actually heard one youngster say, I wish my mother would say no. Then I wouldn't have to make up my own mind. Sometimes we feel like, even as teenagers, when you have teenagers, oh, I wish my mother wouldn't have let me go, or I wish my mom would have stopped me. Why? Because they don't understand the consequences of things, like adults do. We know what could happen. We know what might be able to happen. And we're trying to protect our children from saying, no, you can't go, or no, you can't do that. But because we feel like, especially at this age, yeah, you can wear whatever you want. Yeah, you can go wherever you want. Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. They're going to be okay. No, sometimes we have to say no. And sometimes the results could be, disastrous. Sometimes, who knows, and they won't even come back, or they can get into a car accident, or they shouldn't even be at a party when they weren't even invited. They shouldn't even have been there, and a shooting breaks on, they get hurt. It's like, you weren't even supposed to be at that party in the first place. Why were you there? So it all, again, it's like we have to know as parents when to say no. And even, like I said, teenagers are even at that point where, well, geez, I wish my mom wouldn't have let me go, or if she would have forced me to stay home, I wouldn't have been in that mess. Even teenagers know. Okay, so the validity of no, or being valid. Obedience to no is perhaps the earliest a youngster must learn. No falls in various categories, from very important, which means requires instant response, to probably not, which may be discussed. The most important no is the one that will prevent your child from getting hurt or hurting someone else. This no requires instant, unquestioning obedience. If Christopher goes too far out on the thin ice or goes right on touching a match to her sister's Joanne's dress while he decides whether or not to obey, it will be too late. The tone of your voice reserved for this real emergency no is usually to enforce it. The next no in importance is that which prevents destruction of property. This no is used continually with small children. No, Christopher, don't touch. No, Eddie, don't step on the flowers, and so on and so on. It is a vital part of their teaching respect for possessions. And as the child gets older, it will become less necessary. So I did want to touch on a little bit of table manners. So table manners for children should be the same as they are for adults, with one exception. Children should be permitted to be excused from the table at a very young age if the meal is an extended one. Expecting a child to sit quietly through a protracted meal when his food is gone is an unreasonable demand on his patience and ability to sit still without wiggling, fiddling, and noise making to help pass the time. May I please be excused should be asked of parents or the hostess when dining with friends and relatives. That's true. I mean, sometimes, I don't know, but I think if there's going to be an extensive meal plan and you have young ones there, it's better for them to. I always say feed the kids first. That's how I was brought up. Every time we had a party or something, make sure the kids eat first. This way they have their fill, and then they can go and play. And the same thing when cutting a cake. Feed the kids the cake first, because even though, and you always have to feed children. Well, when I learned, small little slices, because most of the time you get this big ginormous cake, and it could be like for graduation, a wedding, whatever, and children, they're not going to eat that cake. The most likely they'll probably just take one tiny bite and the rest will go in the garbage, and I'm pretty sure you guys know that. So when it comes to adults, and adults, all we are really just children ourselves. There's no description, children versus adults. We're all children. Some are just grow up to be bigger than others. Bottom line, we're all children. But because we are older and we look older, we should know better. So adults too, they're the same way. Sometimes we'll just take a little piece too, and we'll just leave it on the table. We won't eat it. But but I would say always feed the children first. Like I said, that's how I was taught. So, and if your youngster is small and it's fiddling, like she said, and fussing or making noise, it's better just to excuse yourself and the child. And if you're visiting, go sit down with him for a little bit. Find him something to play with. But if it's your house and they coming to visit you, just take them up to bed and call it a night for him. That's what I would do. And if there is a lot of commotion and there's a lot of people in your house, and your youngsters are, if you're the type that you like to stay up late and do all this stuff, and you have little ones, hey, it's time, and they're getting tired. They're getting tired of hearing all the noise, especially if you don't have an upstairs and you have one solid apartment straight across. They're going to hear the noise. They're going to get tired of hearing all the yelling and screaming or whatever, the music. There's no way to run away from it. So if you have young children and they're between the ages 4 and 8, let's say, or 10, and they're like getting sick of hearing all the noise, you know what? It's time to call it a night. You know what I'm saying? You have children. Party was fun. I got kids. They got to go to bed. We'll have another party another time. Call it a night. Be aware. Be discerning that your children are tired. They don't want to go and hear through the noise, or they're fighting or whatever. Bye. It was nice having you guys over. Bye. We'll see you next time. You have to consider your children's feelings as well. Don't make it all about you and your party. think of them, okay? This way they won't be and wake up the next day all crabby and, you know, and stuff, you know? That's how I see it. That's how I would see it. So be aware of your children at all times. Anyway, that's all I have from Emily Post. And I'm going to put my glasses here. So I got these little donuts, and I saw them at Walmart. Look at how cute. I don't want to drop them. Look at how cute they look. Aren't they cute? They're tiny, tiny little donuts. Now, I remember saying, oh my God. They have these donuts at Walmart. And they're really big. And every time me and my son go to Walmart and we see them, oh my God, we grab them. And they're just ice filled. Some have chocolate and some have caramel. But when I see all of them are all vanilla iced, I grab 1 or 2 boxes. And these taste just like them. And I didn't bring a napkin. These are so good. I swear I can just eat the whole package. But I will save some for the kids when they get back. So I think I'm gonna end it here. Oh wait, no, I got one more thing to share with you. And I do want to hurry up a little bit. I gotta bring a napkin out here next time. Because I have been getting into poems. And I read this one poem, and I thought it was really nice. Let me read it to you. It was, before I was ready to speak. I think I'm talking about children again. I needed to discover myself in silence. I don't need to constantly make noise or be in constant movement. The real understanding of self comes from being in silence. It comes from the quiet exploration. Even when life is loud out there, I know I can drown out the noise to sit in stillness to really hear my own voice. I thought that was cute. I didn't rhyme or anything like that, but you know what it meant. Sometimes we go through all this, you know, noise that's around, and sometimes we just, you know, we just need to sit still to hear ourselves think. Isn't that how we are? I said the best place to think is in the bathroom. There's nobody there. Well, back in the day, they used to have magazines, so but now we have our phones, and we go in there with those phones and be scrolling on the phones, right? Oh my God. Anyway, I guess I'm gonna call it, because I'm pretty sure the person upstairs has to go to work, and I have the dog out here and I don't want him to run out the gate. Okay guys, so thank you so much for joining me like a fish in the sea. So glad you caught me, and we will catch you next week or next time on Tea Time Tuesday. I did try on the blouse that I sewed. I just have to touch it up a little bit, but it came out really nice, and hopefully I'll be able to wear it next time I come on here. Okay guys, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you later. Bye.